This is just a quick video to explain some of the small differences in this 2007 service firm account question from the previous more basic questions that were completed. In the 2007 question, which is for a company called Oak Health Centre Limited, um, you have all of the information up at the top, all of the assets and all of the liabilities. The first difference that we see is that there is a percentage on the investment, 5% investment. So we'll have to deal with that. Another small difference is that there is only 2 years depreciation prior to this year instead of 3 that we've seen before. But everything else there is pretty straightforward. Apart from that, we'll go down this to the workings here for a moment, and you will see that we have closing stock for the shop and for heating oil. We have cleaning, contract cleaning, clients' fees in arrears and due. All of that, this wages and salaries still the same. A revaluation, electricity due, which will be in your light and heat working, supplies, 3 straightforward depreciations. Number 4 here is slightly new as well, which I'm going to do as well with you. These are both quite easy once we see them done. So, going back to the 5% investment. Well, in the question, it tells you that you have investment income received. And in the previous questions that we looked at, we just put that investment interest in as an income. However, here you're given a little bit more information. You're actually told that you have an investment of 70,000, and that's going to be an asset at the start of the year. It's going to be a financial fixed asset at the end of the year in the balance sheet, but also it earns 5% interest. So over here, what I did was I looked at how much I have received in the bank. Now I use these same rules that we've learned from club accounts. You take away anything due at the start. If that was there, it would have been informed in the top sentence. Then I'm going to get rid of this for a moment. Then you may have something due at the end. We think we will, because when you go to the actual investment interest, well, 70,000 by 5% should yield you 3,500. So you are expecting and entitled to 3,500. That is your income. If we've only received 3,000 in the bank, that means we are awaiting 500. So that is an amount which is due at the end of the year. And an income due at the end of the year is a current asset. So now you have your total income, which is 3,500, and 500 of that is a current asset because it hasn't arrived yet. Now, let's look at the client's fees working for a moment. Well, the client's fees working will be generally the same as we've done before. So it is 252,600 at the top. You add on an amount prepaid at the start of the year, which was 4,300 from the top sentence. You take away if there's anything prepaid at the end of the year, which is 3,000, and you add on if there's anything due at the end of the year, which is 450. And that gives you that 254,350. Now, working number 4 does say the closing figure for the bank, and the closing figure for the bank is this debit balance. It's above the lines on the credit. It will be brought down, like I've done here, below the lines on the debit side of 4,740. It does not take into account a dishonored check of €100 received from a client and lodged in late December. So a client has paid us €100, or we thought he paid us, when actually that check has bounced. There was no money in his account. That's a dishonored check. So how we need to treat that is we need to take that €100 essentially out of the client's fees received, because it is not, you see how it went in here, 252,600? Actually, only 252,500 went in there. So we take 100 out of there, and instead we add 100 on to here. Because if that guy has not he has not yet paid us if the check bounced, so therefore he still owes us. So we're going to add it on to the amount due. So the effect that that has is that that makes that 252,500, and it makes this 550, but that does not actually affect the client's fees. The client's fees remain at that same number, which is 254,350. Now, in the bank account, there is also a situation where we've lodged €100 in here, which has been bounced. We need to take that out. So you also need to put your dishonored check on the credit side of the bank account, and you're taking that 7,470 and taking off 100. You actually only have 7,370 in the bank. Seeing as this number does not go into the accounts up here, the only real difference here to the accounts is that this current asset goes up by 100 and this current asset, which is a bank account, goes down by 100. That's essentially it. All it is instead of somebody having paid you 100, they still owe you 100. So that's the key difference, and that's how you do that work. Every other working in this question is the same as the previous ones that we've seen. And I'm just going to scan down here to the bottom where I will show you the numbers that you require. So the company reserves 257,290. The profit on the health food shop, which of course is working one anyway, 13,760. Net profit of 112,610, and of course when you add that on to Part A, you'll get this profit and loss balance. And the total net assets is 811,300.